Welcome back, disc golf fans, to the Front Nine coverage of the final round of the 2021 Texas State Disc Golf Championships presented by Latitude 64. Again, first stop on the PDGA National Tour of the year. And again, coverage provided by Innova Disc Golf. I am Brian Earhart, joined here by fellow lefty Nathan Queen, calling the shots on this beautiful Dogwood Course that has kind of been decimating the players.
Yeah, we've got one round left here. Beautiful course, beautiful day, high in the high 60s here, so not too humid. A very attackable day for the conclusion of this first national tour.
We have a phenomenal final card. We have Emmerson Keith, Paul McBeth, Kevin Jones, and Calvin Heimburg. This is a star-studded chase card, and anyone can make a run at the victory here.
Yeah, only 3 strokes off, the furthest away that we have here on Chase Card. And going into hole 1, we'd like to thank Flight Factory for their sponsorship of the drone coverage. Make sure you check those guys out. 474 feet. Pretty tough par 3 to start, kind of strange for the course, but downhill, and there is a big hyzer play with the tailwind today, which should help out a little bit.
Kevin's going a little low, but if it cuts inside, it might be up there for at least a 3 look. And we haven't seen Paul yet on chase card coverage this tournament, but he has moved into position to take the win. He's down there. He has a long look for a two. And this is actually a great play right now. We have a little left to right crosswind.
Yeah, if you can get this out wide enough, it'll miss all the trees and have that fade back to definitely get all of the distance. And it looks like he may have gone long there.
And you see Calvin's, wow, his disc got shoved down by that crosswind, and he might be caught up in a rough spot. Not too sure where that landed exactly.
He's over here by... He's gone way long, and he is over there by a tee pad on a different course, I think.
Yeah, he's going to stick it next to the basket, get up and down for the par. And this is just a hole you need to start out with a par on. And Calvin's kind of put his to a questionable distance. There is going to be a little headwind coming at him on that putt.
Kevin giving it a good downhill run, comes up just a bit short. The sand grabs him up well, though. And Paul a little closer than I expected him to be. He's got a pretty good look for the 2, and it looks like he was expecting the wind to keep that up, and it just didn't hold it up for him.
And there you have it. That's a 4 already for Calvin. And that is not what you want on this chase card.
Yeah, a bit strange on the green. It is a bit windier today than it has been. Once you're not used to playing in the wind for a couple of days and it picks back up, it can make you think a little harder on the green.
Paul's going to tap in his par. Yeah, it's interesting on this course. When the wind picks up to a certain point, it does begin to seep into the woods, so you really have to start thinking about your game plan and if you need to change it, because you never know when your disc is going to get affected.
And moving on to hole 2, 300 feet, par 3, a winding creek that kind of crosses through the fairway at 2 separate points. Pretty tight gap to hit. You could go right, or there is a gap off to the left that I don't think most people take. But it's forehand flat to a slight finish, and you'll be up there close to the basket.
And Kevin has sawed his off a little early, out of bounds. That is not a gimme up and down either.
This is looking pretty good out of Paul. There's one tree to miss late, spikes right in front of it, and almost skips it in.
Perfect
Absolute
sidearm.
Tap in.
Emerson's
Kind of a second kick there.
Yeah. That right side is absolute jail.
This is a little early. Does not get any luck from it, and ends up falling out of bounds as well. A great recovery shot from Emmerson there. Kevin's got a little bit to work with still, pitching up for now a bogey after going OB, and it doesn't look like he's made it for his tap-in that he was hoping for. A big putt here for Kevin.
And that is, I believe, going to be a 5 for Kevin Jones after going out of bounds in his drive. And he is going to be 2 up through 2 holes.
Yeah, along with Calvin, who has just tapped in his bogey to start bogey. Not the guys that you typically would think nerves are affecting, but there could be something going on. Got him a little nervous. First national tour of the year. Still on chase card, trying to run some good players down.
Yeah, I mean, the players at 14 under are still 3 strokes off the lead, so really anyone in this card can make a run at it. And with the amount of crazy things happening on this course, you never know. Moving into number 3, I think this was one of the cooler holes in the course, kind of a subtle dogleg left. The players have to push something up to flat as it's riding left. Too much hyzer and you're fading off early with no shot at birdie. Too straight and you're kicking off to the right, which is swampy and awful footing. I'm guessing Paul's going to go Undertaker here.
Yeah, the further you get down this fairway up to about 330 or 340 feet, the better of an angle you have towards the pin. I couldn't quite tell what happened to Paul's disc there at the end.
The trajectory of that shot was exactly what I was talking about. Emmerson going with a little bit more stable of a disc. I think that might have been a Pioneer that he threw.
Calvin needed that to stand up. It's a little early, but it might have enough speed that has kept going and snuck through everything. And he's a bit inside, but there is some lines over there. He may be able to go high or sneak something low inside.
And this is... that actually is the optimal play for the hole.
Yeah, that was going to turn out great. Going over left and then flattens out to avoid that OB creek once it gets up there. But now he's pitched up and done a good job to be able to save his par. And Emmerson getting pretty skinny. He makes it across the ditch, which will give him a putt for his birdie over there.
Paul's standstills are so controlled and balanced, and he's going to be up there for a birdie.
Yeah, nice touch hyzer, skips around that last tree that would have kept him about circle's edge. Kevin does hit that and is at that last tree right about circle's edge, but he will still have a par putt. Calvin with an easy line to hit after a bit fortunate, no trees off of the tee there. And he's up for a pretty easy birdie.
And Emerson's got to make a choice. Does he hyzer his standard hyzer putt around this tree, or does he try to throw something a little straighter and land it into the basket?
Yeah, it looks like he's probably about 80, 85 feet here, and he's going to give it a full run, it looks like. He
little early.
Yeah, didn't quite get the full commit onto it. Maybe went a little too quickly and came out early.
Great par putt from Kevin from about 35. And Paul gets a birdie. He's going to move the 2 under par.
Yeah, making it look pretty easy there. Just throwing straight and then a little hyzer up shot. So 2 birdies and 2 pars on the card is a pretty good way to play this hole, though. It is a fairly tough par 4 to get the birdie on.
Yeah, averaging a 4.22, so a birdie is really taking you some strokes in the field.
The Star Excalibur is a workhorse disc for me. It's been a staple in my bag at all my biggest wins, taking care of the majority of my distance forehand work, whether it's Winthrop Gold, Lake Eureka, or Wild Horse. It's been a disc that I've used and always trusted to give me a lot of distance and a predictable fade that I can always lean on, even in high pressure situations.
And here we are at hole 4, 474 feet. Another placement shot. This tree you see in the middle right here is a blind tree you can't see off the tee. You want to go inside or outside of it, depending on your flight angle. And if you can miss that tree, then you're going to have an opportunity to get up here to the basket for your birdie.
Yeah, a lot of players, I believe this entire card is going to go. You know, I had thought that Paul was going to go flick here. He's opted for the backhand turnover. I think he's put himself to a pretty good spot. Probably playing a little deeper than the skip shot would go. This is what I was assuming
and
Paul was going to go for.
That looked good out of Calvin. They've ended up in a pretty similar spot. Emmerson trying to go inside. Looks like he's able to get that done. Also in a good spot, right in the middle of the fairway.
All these sidearms looking pretty good.
Yeah, we've got 4 all in a pretty similar position, kind of paired up. 2 right by a tree and 2 of them in the center.
Paul going zone here. Little Annie out of the hand.
Yeah, he's overcooked it a bit too much off to the left, which is easy to do here. It's uphill, and you've got to get this slight flex on it, and you see Calvin overcorrect and not get enough flex. If you're not in the middle, it makes this upshot quite a bit tougher just because of the tightness of the line, and you still trying to make a flex shot up there.
And Kevin's not able to capitalize either. Here's Emmerson just trying to make something happen for this card.
Here we go.
And he slides it up there perfectly. There's that little ridge you have to get over, and if you slide right over it, you're in pretty good position. Paul giving that a little bit of a bid.
Yeah, that's a great bid from there. He got the float right. Had to come close to that tree, which I'm sure he wasn't worried about at all. Calvin eyeing down the birdie look. And gives it good height, just fades out just a bit early.
Ooh, Kevin making a run at it as well.
Yeah, long Annie look, which is tough to do out of a straddle putt in my opinion, but he's got a good flight on it.
Especially with how low his release is to actually get the disc up and then pop it on that left to right angle. That's kind of almost like fighting against gravity.
Yeah, but he does it well. Almost gives it, he gives it a good run. Almost gets it, but taps in his par. And then Emmerson with the easy birdie, showing you how it's supposed to be done.
And we are going to move into the hardest hole on the course. The players have been talking about this hole all weekend. It is a super specific, challenging shape. I've seen flip-up righty sidearm get down there. I've more optimally seen righty backhand with something a little bit more stable than you'd think, getting it to move left right away. You see Emmerson really having to chop that on hard hyzer.
Yeah, and that was just a bit too far inside. He doesn't get a kick too far right, but it still will be pretty tough to scramble from there. And Paul almost getting around. It looks like he does kick something. He'll have one of the things I appreciate about this hole is the gap is so tight, but if you're within 70 feet and have a look at the basket, you can run it because of the little ravine behind it.
Exactly.
Is gonna catch most of your putts, and you're not gonna have too much of a comebacker.
And it looks like Kevin intentionally went outside of the left tree line.
Yeah, there's a high left gap that if you're standing on the tee pad and you look up, it goes straight left of the FPO basket, and then once you get to the end of it, it opens up a little bit and you could fade back in. It's not 100% that you're going to get to the basket if you make it through that high gap, but it is a good play to get down there.
Oh, and Paul, this is showing why it's the hardest hole in the course. If you hit early, the scramble is almost impossible to get up and down for a par. Super heavily wooded.
Emmerson going with a little touch flick there. Most likely didn't make it real far. He's pretty thick in the woods there.
Kevin puts his to a makeable range.
And Emmerson with a second little touch forehand. Goes down into that ravine back behind it. He's got about a 15-footer. should be able to convert his bogey putt there. Paul giving it all he can, trying to get the par, and ends up 15 feet or so also with a bogey putt.
Oh, almost off the tree and in for Calvin, but that kicks him into the ravine with some work to do. And here's Kev. This is for par, I believe.
What a putt.
He is so automatic from
Is
that range.
the second or third one we've seen from him for the round already to save his par.
And that's kind of what Dogwood does to you. It puts you in a lot of uncomfortable situations. Takes a lot of focus.
Calvin now coming back up for his bogey. And just a rough hole here. All of them hit pretty early. You can see it's hard to scramble down there. It's just such a tight fairway.
Who knew 306 feet could give these players such trouble? Paul taps in his bogey as well. The hole averaged over a half stroke over par.
And Chase Card showing you why right here.
Yeah. And that's a double bogey 5 for Emmerson. And that's got to sting a little bit.
Yeah, they're happy to see this hole now. Hole 6, 243 feet. I would say a good 80% easier than the last hole. You've got to just hit your putter straight down the fairway, maybe a mid-range if you like to touch those a little better, and just get it to sit without going too far. There is a OB creek to deal with a little bit, but as long as you hit your line straight, you've got it like Kev does.
It's so interesting. Paul's touch throws are looking so incredible these days, and it's almost like he's getting even better each season that goes by.
Oh, and Calvin with a fortunate kick there to not go forward and be in the OB, he'll still be able to get his par from there or have a chance.
And Emmerson just trying to go with his bread and butter. Just trying to take a nice little slow disc.
And it does look like it trickles out of bounds there. That's very unfortunate. It looked like he got a good kick off to the left to stay in.
So that was his par putt, and he's going to take a bogey on this after double bogeying 5. This cannot feel good for Emmerson.
Yeah, that's a tough stretch. Calvin able to save his par, though, after a short upshot. Or a long upshot, excuse me. And then just a couple tap-ins pretty much here for Kevin and Paul. Kevin getting his first birdie of the round, getting back to even, trying to start making a move.
After a phenomenal stretch of saving par, left and right from tough positions.
And Emmerson, a little bit of work left, but walks right up to it and jams it in. You can tell he's ready to move on and get past these unfortunate last couple holes. And Paul with the easy tap in.
The PDGA has ignited the passions of professional and amateur members, paving the way for generation after generation of diehard players. Disc golf isn't just your passion, it's ours too.
Moving on to 7, 420 feet, but very, very wooded yet again. Players can take a little flippier disc out of their bag and kind of jam one forward and let it flip up as it's riding to the left. And we have this slightly protected basket with kind of a quick green with this pine straw we were talking about. This is a play that I've been seeing. The miss is very rough if you do hit a tree with this forehand. because of that roll bounce to the right.
Right. Yeah, in my opinion, the righty backhand or the right to left moving shot is a better play on this hole. You can go high like this and push it forward with flippy, or you can go lower with an overstable and kind of get that pushing forward flare around.
I believe this is... Ooh, looked like an eagle out of Calvin's hand, but again, it clipped that section of trees that really... It's been a nightmare for a lot of players.
Yeah, just the amount of kicks and different ways you can travel with this righty forehand or lefty backhand makes it, in my opinion, not quite as good of a play. Calvin, however,
Wow!
doesn't care that he's
What a
almost on
scramble.
a different fairway and parks it for his birdie.
That was... Oh, Kev.
Yeah, he didn't miss that by a whole lot. That was the only tree I think that it looks like was in his line. And now he's got even more work to do, it looks like, from where he kicked to.
And you see how many, first available trees these players have been hitting all weekend. It's so interesting to hear all the players talk so positively about this course. You know, you'd think that there'd be a lot of complaints about how wooded it is, but I think it's just refreshing to get back in the woods a little bit for these players.
And a tomahawk roller, thumber, I don't know exactly what that was.
Sit down.
Besides fantastic.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Incredible scramble shot from Kevin there. Tap in par, which is more than I think he was asking for.
Yeah, to even get that roller to stick on that green is incredible.
He had to hop over the ditch in the first place also. That was incredible. And Emmerson working his way out with the sidearm from the knees. He's got up there for a putt. He's probably only 15 feet away or so. And a nice bounce back from him. I know he's still not quite happy yet, but it does feel good to get a birdie after a tough stretch.
Kevin's tapping in his par. Kind of a bland round for him so far. Especially after shooting such a hot 11 down in round 2.
Yeah, course record, I believe.
It's an incredible round. And part of that success comes from scoring on this tougher front 9 and getting through some of these really challenging holes, including this monster right here, Nathan.
Yeah, hole 8, 400 feet. Such a tight gap and very specific line that you have to hit. Righty forehand on this card is going to be the best play. You kind of want to push it 180 feet on a hyzer straight before it stands up and starts going left, and then catches just enough stability to not turn over the whole time. This looks a little high out of Paul. Gets a pretty fortunate kick, though, and pushes down the hill forward and will be close enough to the gap he shouldn't have much issue.
And this is Calvin's safe play. He is literally just trying to throw a hyzer down there.
Yeah, I actually did see a couple righty backhands get just right outside the circle, hitting the line that I was talking about on the righty forehand with just kind of a hyzer stand-up.
Yeah.
And good play as well. But this is the play to park it. And it's looking pretty good. Oh, no.
That was Kev's red D2.
I played with him the second round and watched him absolutely park this hole with that same line.
Emmerson gets caught up, and that's going to be another bogey for him if he gets up and down from there.
Good sidearm out of Calvin. That's really the only gap you have on that little ditch line. It's pretty much just a wall. If you don't have a look at this gap, then you don't really have a clean way through. Paul able to flex a little sidearm around. And after your tee shot, if you don't make it real far up there, this par feels pretty good.
Absolutely. Averaged a 3.47 on the day.
And I'm sure he'd rather have a better look after such a great tee shot. Just catches the last tree, but like you said, 3.47, a 3's gaining strokes on a lot of people.
Emmerson taps out another bogey. This has been kind of a tough stretch for him.
Yeah, the woods just showing their teeth. They can grab anybody.
We're going to move into number 9, 351 feet, slightly uphill and then slightly downhill. Discs are going to fly a little bit more stable than you think because of that subtle uphill, so it is a very specific shot shape here.
Yeah, and you see these banners by the tee pad moving around, and this is kind of where the last hole and moving into this hole and the next 2 or 3, you start to feel this wind seeping into the woods. And for my card, it kind of felt like a headwind coming in on this hole. So it feels more stable flying uphill, but then you can't really feel that headwind, and you have a sneaky little turn up there.
Yeah, you saw Paul's get away from him. Calvin's also. Looks like that's an eagle out of his hand.
And it misses just enough to get up there onto the green, but it was drifting more right than he was wanting.
Yeah, wow, you're seeing everybody's disc get shoved to the right. Kev's follows the same line, doesn't get through like Calvin's did.
Yeah, being in the woods, even though these players see those banners moving, it's hard to trust that wind is going to do anything. And Emmerson just with a straight miss release there. That was not what you want off the tee, and then an even worse kick.
He's going roller. And wow, he's got another tough upshot to even get up and down for bogey.
And Paul with a pretty tough upshot over there. Skips it up there great, though. Uses all of the fairway and slides just inside of those trees. And a really fast run from Emmerson there, trying to save his par. He gets pretty lucky to stop as short as he did. About 20 feet away. Got Calvin with the lone birdie chance here. Circle's edge. Nope, he's about 25.
And he snags it. That's a solid birdie there for Calvin. He really hasn't been making that huge of a push, but he's been steadily making some moves. And same with Paul.
And Emerson's still with another tester here. He's got some trees in between. This is for his bogey. Looks like he's got it pretty clean, though. And we're seeing a bit of struggles on the front 9 here from our chase card.
I really do believe, though, the wind seeping into the woods really makes you question everything that you're doing, and it's hard to throw a shot with confidence not knowing what's going to happen up there.
Absolutely.
There you have it, folks. There's our front 9. You see a lot of red on these scorecards. Players trying to make a big push for the victory. We will move into the back 9, a little bit more scoreable. As you can see, Ricky and Matt Oram are in a heated battle as well at 20 under par at this point. Again, make sure to subscribe to Gatekeeper Media on YouTube. I'm Brian Earhart. He's Nathan Queen. We are signing off.
We'll see you guys out there.